Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of A Better Tomorrow 3, Love and Death in Saigon, a Korean action flick from 1989 that stars Chow Yun Fat, Anita and Leung. It was directed by Tsui Hark this time. So the following plot synopsis was taken from the website Love HK Film. Tsui Hark brings us this prequel to A Better Tomorrow, which is noticeably without original director John Woo. And Choi had a falling out with Woo previously, so Choi himself directs Chow Yun Fat as Mark from A Better Tomorrow 1. And Mark heads to Saigon in 1974, hooks up with his cousin Moon, played by Leung. Together, he and Tony run into tough-as-nails gangster Anita, who takes a shine to the two boys. She teaches Chow his gun moves and begins to fall for him. But Chow is oblivious. Meanwhile, Moon gets the idea that Anita fancies him, and this love triangle creates most of the drama for a good 2/3 of the film before the darkness of their world crashes in on them. So early on, Chow gets into some, I would say, light trouble with immigration and customs at the Vietnam airport. He coincidentally runs into Anita multiple times, and she definitely has some influence in that country, while Chow does not, obviously. Tony does show him the ropes, but he also seems like a neophyte in ways and lacks influence in the area, with the exception of a few nefarious individuals that he does business with. And, the characterization and story in this movie are merely okay. They're alright. We get some cute moments of bonding between the three leads. There's a significant subplot involving Tony's father, who has great pride over his way of life. Some romantic tension develops. Then a separate set of bad guys show up a little bit later on. That does change a few times. Like, your bad guys get swapped around a few times. And during all of this, we go back and forth between Vietnam and Hong Kong. This movie does kind of keep changing its focus, as you may have noticed there. I'm not sure it's really a good thing. I mean, stuff keeps happening, which does help to keep the momentum going, but I would say the dramatic impact it's going for in each of these individual little subplots is mostly missing, I would think, in my opinion. But how about the action? Well, there are basically 3 acts to this movie. The middle act has little to no action, so that does slow down the pacing. The good news is that Act 1 and Act 3 have some entertaining stuff. There's a solid, stylish shootout early on. There's a pretty high body count, especially considering that it's an early shootout in the film. Usually this level of body count, you wait till the end of the film to get to it, so that was a nice little surprise there. There's a cool moment involving a flipped-over car that I enjoyed, and I would say that sequence of events is a highlight scene. Ironically, we do seem to get more conflict within the immigration and customs office at the airport than we do actual gangster or other violence. Yeah, that's another subplot for you, the immigration and customs office. We get a handful of scenes in there, but it's entertaining enough. And then once you get to Act 3, we get a consistent dose of action and violence. Some good shootouts, but after a while, they do feel maybe somewhat repetitive in their use of slow motion gunplay. In fact, some of these shootouts are entirely in slow motion. It's a bit much, a bit much. The finale involving the tank is pretty cool, though. So the action here is entertaining enough, but nothing special. It's kind of like how I would describe this movie. Production values are legit, though. This is evident with, certain scenes where there's hundreds of extras who show up, especially during those protest scenes in Vietnam. But, I would say, one other thing I need to mention. I mentioned in my review of the second installment, as well as the plot synopsis here, that, Tsui Hark and John Woo had a falling out. Well, apparently Woo took his preliminary script for this film, left, and made Bullet in the Head instead. So Bullet in the Head and A Better Tomorrow 3 are kind of it's kind of a director's duel. You got Tsui Hark doing one, John Woo doing the other, and I will say I think John Woo won this contest, because Bullet in the Head is significantly better than A Better Tomorrow 3, in my opinion, on most levels. But still, I think A Better Tomorrow 3 is a pretty good action flick. You know? It's pretty good. Available streaming on Tubi. It's also in that tricked out Blu-ray release from Shout Factory, which includes the entire trilogy of films. So, what's your opinion on this one? I think Better Tomorrow 3 has fewer defendants and fans compared to A Better Tomorrow 2, but maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you think. And as always, folks, I'll see you next time.